Good morning.
What's up?
Happy Monday. Oh, look at you in Christmas Village. Isn't that festive?
I'm very festive. I just figured if the North Pole was for sale, we would be selling it. So
I like it. I like it. You got the sign up there.
that's right.
Well, I hope everybody had a phenomenal Thanksgiving and great weekend and answered your phone because there was activity everywhere, which is good news for everybody. And as we get ready for tomorrow, I think we need to do just a reminder. I'm going to probably do it 12 times today. We've got 3 days of probably the most contextual, relevant, badass, timely, ass-kicking sales contract techniques to make your 2021 amazing. And maybe I'm pre-selling it pretty hard, but I know what the content is. I know who the presenters are, and there's some amazing content. So if you guys have not joined in and signed up for your sessions for Next Level, you need to get your butt on that. Do it today. And we got a ton of people, so we're excited about it. So make sure you're on. You're gonna miss the boat. You're gonna say, "Damn, I wish I would have been there." So make sure you're there. And you can sign up for the ones you want and that are relevant to you, and those that are not, you don't have to. So there you go. So you were in Tennessee.
It was. It's beautiful there. Chilly.
Chilly and
Beautiful.
You're back. All right. So let's talk about today and what our topics are today, because I think they're pretty interesting. We're super generic with the title of it, some non-conventional ways to find listings. Because guys, I think you see the problem, and I think you clearly know the problem, and it's a big problem. If we don't have inventory, we're in deep trouble. You go into the best store in the world, but if you don't have anything on the shelves, they're out of business. So I want to make sure we don't have that problem. So of course you have the traditional ways, and we're good about that. We're going to dig in for the next 3 days on those ways. But one thing that's not on the agenda for Next Level, it's one of the things we want to talk about today, is what other lead sources are there to find people that want to sell their house? And let's think about this, because timely. Let's talk about the quick ability to make a decision, because that's what we need right now. Everybody knows that this is the top of the market, right? And let's talk about that for a second. Why is this the top of the market? Or is this the top of the market? I shouldn't say the top of the market, but so far it's the top of the market. Your house is worth more than it's ever been worth before, because people are buying on payments more than price. So they don't really care how much you're asking for your house. They just know that they qualify for X number of dollars a month, and your house fits that budget. So therefore they want to buy your house. That's what's going on right now. So that's why the price sensitivity, it's insensitive right now. People really don't care if it's 340 or 380, because 380 at 2.7% is way better. 240 at 4%. You guys get that simple math, and we're going to have a whole session on that. I believe it's Wednesday in Next Level. But that's the issue. So now it's not, your house is worth more than it's ever been worth before. So here's the issue. To try to talk Mike and Courtney and their kids into packing up and moving is a long process. That's a long sales funnel. You guys are watching that happen here real time. It's taken a few years already. But the reality of it is there's no reason for them to move. They're not going to move, and they should move. They should absolutely upgrade. They should add another office. They should add a bigger something, because money's free and the equity is there in the house. But whatever, I could talk till I'm blue in my face about that aspect. But so there's the point. So that's an emotional sale, because they have to do something. They have to find another place to fall in love with. They have to come to terms with leaving their neighbors and all that other stuff that they don't need to do. And there's no reason for it. So that is a cold lead that's not going to pay me by New Year's. You guys, pretty simple. Mike, following that, pretty fair assessment? One day you might, but that's not a good lead right now. So who do we talk to that's not emotional? Because that's a quicker sale to make a decision. And of course, it's the absentees. I'm not going to go deep into that, even though we have an entire session on absentees coming up on Wednesday. So just a little reminder about NLU. Day one is about business planning, mindset, getting yourself ready for 2021. Because if you don't get that fundamentals and foundation done, it doesn't make any sense. Day two is all about listings. Day three is all about buyers. So that's how we organize this whole day. So let's talk about it. So who is non-emotional? Absentee owners, investors. Okay. Now,
Well,
how do you,
a perfect example is, so the cabin we stayed in Tennessee
Yep.
was beautiful, and it sat on a very large property that actually the owner owns 3 cabins kind of not right next to each other, but on the same property. And they rent out all 3 of them. One is very large, one's kind of medium, and then one is much smaller, right? So 3 different price points. We wanted the bigger one, but it was already booked, so we took the medium one. And the week we were there, all 3 were booked. But in talking with the seller, my wife discovered that, we actually tried to book it again for next year, and she said, well, I don't even want to do that yet. I'm actually taking it off the market because I think we're going to sell all 3 of them. It's just not bringing in the rental income consistently throughout the year that we thought it would. And it was, but with COVID and all the restrictions that VRBO and all these places put on them, they just can't make as much money. And the property is still highly valuable based on where it is in the mountain and, all of that. And the fact that it's a really big size. So, if someone really wanted to, they could knock all 3 down and build a massive, cabin with beautiful mountain views. So she's going to sell. So that's 3 potential listings right there from someone who was making rental income. And for them, it's not an emotional decision. It's a business decision. They bought that for business income, right? And it's not generating as much income as they wanted. And so now they're looking at selling all 3. So that's 3 potential sales right there.
And it's not emotional. Now there's emotions because they had dreams about having their little warm and cozy little sipping on their little hot choco and watching all the money come in from the other 2 cabins and retiring and little goats running around and all the stuff that was in their dream. There's the emotional part. But the reality of it is X dollars need to come in, Y dollars need to go out. And if those 2 don't balance and one's not greater than the other, then that's the first thing you drop because it's a bad asset, right? So that's the whole point. So now let's say restrictions don't lift anytime soon. I don't know about you. I don't see restrictions lifting in the next couple months. Now, everybody has been hoping that season's going to come, right? Season's coming. Season's not coming the way season normally comes, right? Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but just has not happened. So everyone who was hoping that everyone's going to make up their losses in February, March, and April, it's not looking that good because it's just not the sheer volume of people isn't coming, and supply and demand rules the world. And if you have 30 options to rent for March 1st, right, you're not going to pay as much as when there was 1 option and you're lucky to get it on March 1st, which is the way the world typically worked in most of our markets, right? So we're going to have issues. So the absentees are important and the VRBOs are important, and for rent by owners are important. I walk around the neighborhood every morning, just put Rami in the stroller and we walk her around I walk around the block and feed squirrels and stuff. And there's 2 houses that came out for seasonal rent, right? And because they have rental restrictions, you can't rent for weeklies in residential neighborhoods, but you can do 3-month in a couple of different streets. And so people try to get fully furnished apartments, fully furnished houses, and they hope to make all their money February, March, and April. Now, is that going to happen? Maybe. Is it going to happen as surely as it did the last year's? No. So I was talking with one of the sellers on that, one of the renters over there. Hi, Dad. Dad's over here peeking around underneath desk and doing awkward things. So, but I was talking to one of the owners over there and said, what do you want for this? And he said, I want X dollars per month. And just for those 3 months, said, have you ever thought about selling this thing? And I said, yeah, but we like the rental income, but it's not getting the phone calls it used to get. Normally it's gone by now, and it's not gone by now. And I said, well, it's never been worth more than it is right now. You can see there's nothing else for sale in the neighborhoods right now. So your piece of property is worth more than it's ever been before, right? Simple fact. So if you've ever even had a thought about selling it, now we just had a tropical storm roll through that made you waterfront in your front yard, right? So if there was ever a thought that you might want to reallocate that asset and cash out here and put it somewhere else, this is a good time to think about that. So that's the phone call. So all we did was plant the seed, didn't push, didn't say, let me come over, let me do this stuff. No, it's just, here's where I am, where we are, think about it. And that's all we're doing right now. So what do you think happened after that conversation? Thoughts, right? The guy had his thoughts and he was going through and saying, "Well, I wonder what it is worth." And maybe he went to Zillow, maybe he went to his cousin, who knows what happened, but we started a process, right? So that's our job. And if you go to every rental property that's up and down the beaches, you can go onto VRBO, right? The website, go Airbnb, go onto, anything for rent and try to find the properties that are rentable and then call the people and just say, "Hey, now look, if the owner lives in Peoria and owns a little piece of property in Longboat Key or Orlando or wherever it is that you're working right now, have a conversation. What are you doing? What's going on? What's going on with this piece of property? Is it performing the way you want it to? I'm checking on my out of state owners. What's going on in your world? Are you booked? Is it happy? Is there anything I can do to help you? I'm just checking on my out of town guys." And guys, it's a huge gold mine to do this. And we've always talked about the absentees just going into Remind, going into Forewarn, video texting them, and that's still not going to change. But we're adding another layer now with going into VRBO and starting to find the properties. You can type in Celebration VRBO and you'll get a whole list of properties. You could type in Tierra Verde VRBO. You type in Indian Rocks Beach VRBO. You type in Reddington Beach VRBO. You're going to get hundreds of them, right?
Well,
now
and then you can sort by availability, right? So
Yeah.
what my wife was doing too was looking at which ones are available the most often, especially as we get into next year. So she can pick any cabin and go in and see how much is it rented. So big red flag should go up if you're looking at these and you see that one is completely available through what should be the busiest season. If it is available between the holiday season, that is a big red flag that they may not be generating the income that they thought they were going to, right? So if you start looking at availability, if it's booked solid, right, chances are, I'm not saying don't reach out, but chances are that is a harder sale than something that is showing very available, right? So check it out. Maybe it's not performing the way that they wanted, and that's a big red flag.
And then here's the reality of it. And this conversation has to come out. Do not sell this. If you don't need to sell this and you're fine absorbing it in the meantime, everything's going to come back, guys. Right? Disney World will be at full capacity. You have to wait 3 hours to get on a ride. It's coming back, right? Trust me, it'll be here. I just don't think it's going to be here January, February, March, right? And I hope it's for next year, but you don't know. So the question is, hang on if you can. Do not sell real estate ever. It's the best asset you could ever have long-term health. Right. So make sure you don't come out with commission for us. And I'm really looking for listeners who want to sell your house. Say, no, this is a time for you to absolutely consider your options, because more people can afford your property, which makes demand stronger than it's ever been. Supply is lowest than it's ever been, and demand at the highest it's ever been. It is the perfect storm from a seller perspective to get top dollar for your property. That's absolute truth. Okay. That's the conversation I want you to have. Now, as I say this, do not sell if you don't have to. If you don't have a better right now, ride on, baby, have fun. If you got to feed it a little bit this year, so be it, right? We'll be back, right? But if you're hurting in any way, shape, or form, or your cousin's launching a new rocket company and you want to get in his IPO, then take a few $100,000 from this asset and go put it into that one, right? This is the time. If you ever were going to cash out, this is the time, right? That's the only message I want to say. Don't. But if you were thinking you might have a better use for it, do it now. Right? Don't, but do it now. Got it? It's a little contradictory statement, but don't do it. However, if you're going to, you better get off your ass and do it right now, because the value of it at 2.75% interest rates is way higher than when we're at 4.75% interest rates, right? It's just simply because the number of people that can afford it goes down to this number of people rather than this number of people. Supply and demand rules everything, and prices follow suit. That's what's going on. So that's the conversation we absolutely have to have if you want inventory. Now, some of you I talk with and I'm coaching with are working on this one and say, I've talked to 30 people and nobody's done anything. Well, deal with it, because 30 people is not going to do anything. You've got to keep rolling in and just keep talking until you get them. Guys, every one of you most of you who are watching right now, looking at the list, are good with two transactions a month extra, right? If you can find two or two extras, you're thrilled to death. Most of you are okay with one. So how many do you have to talk to? As many as you have to talk to, What else are you doing today? I mean, can you blow through 100 of them today? You should, right? If you actually wanted to have more money in your bank account, call 150 of them. Call until your thumb is cramped, right? What else are you going to do?
Yeah. But it all comes back to, do you have a reason to go do it? Right? It's a lot easier. It's rainy and cloudy outside. We got cold weather coming. It's the holidays. It's a lot easier to say, nah, I'm good. Right?
It is. It is, but it's not. We're not going to let anybody get away with that anymore. And if you're in that boat, then you need to definitely make sure you're tuned in tomorrow, because Chris and I are going to do all kinds of things to unlock your brain and get you to that next level. So, because guys, this is the simplest business in the entire planet, and it's never been more perfect than it is right now. I mean, you couldn't honestly dial up interest rates to be any more in your favor right now. You couldn't heat up the market hot enough, hotter than it is right now from a buyer demand perspective. You couldn't heat it up from a seller perspective with what they can actually get for it. It's a total silver platter. So that's why we're not going to let you get away with not being very rich by the end of Q1, which whatever definition of rich is to you, right? This is the time. Q1 probably, and Craig and I will talk about this in our keynote tomorrow. Q1 is most likely going to be the peak pinnacle top in the history of the real estate industry as far as production goes, as far as income goes. It's coming for Q1. Nothing's ever been aligned better than what's about to happen right now. And we're going to make sure that you're ready. Now, as most people are slipping into holiday mode, what are we doing? We're doing 18 hours of nonstop, full in your face, full throttle training, right? To make sure that you are well poised to take advantage of 2021. No one else is doing this, guys, because we know what's coming, and we're going to make sure that you're there to take advantage of absolutely every single bit about it. So I'm stoked. I'm so excited about this. I love these next 3 days coming up, and just this next quarter that's coming up. So that's what we need to start doing. Andrew, you've got your hand raised. If you want to type into the chat if you want to say something, because we can always turn your mics on if you guys want to. Questions, comments about this, guys. I want to make sure that you guys are feeling comfortable with what we're talking about and you know how to do it. One of the things while you're typing in is this, okay? Find them, go into Remind, go into Forewarn, and talk about going into LinkedIn and going into Facebook, guys, because here's the key. Here's the key. If you aren't going into every one of these conversations, treating it as a relationship and looking for connections, then you're wasting your time. You might as well just go to the beach, right? Because if I'm going to reach out to Joe Wilson, who lives in Chicago, who doesn't know me from Adam, right? He's going to have his resistance up. He's going to try to get off that phone as quickly as humanly possible because he doesn't like me, doesn't know me, doesn't trust me, doesn't want me to call him, doesn't want anything to do with me because he has his own life going on right now. So the moment I give him an instant to get rid of me, I'm out, right? He's going to hang up on me. Sorry, I'm busy, uninterested, goodbye. You're like, damn it, I didn't get a chance to tell him what I wanted to say. It was all his best interest. Doesn't matter. You're going to get hung up on. It's going to be over, okay? So that's the whole point. So really need to start paying attention to who am I actually calling? And is it worth spending 4 minutes typing his name, her name into LinkedIn, typing their name into Facebook, typing their name into Google, and seeing what else that you can have? Christina just wrote it. Would you reach out from a personal Facebook page or your business page, Facebook page? Right? I would reach out from my personal Facebook page because you're a person, right? As long as when they click on you, because they will, Christina, and make sure that you have your profile picture, maybe you sitting by something Century 21, maybe something real estate related in your About You section, something to know what you are, right? Passionate real estate agent, Century 21, #1 agent, or whatever, whatever you want to say, right? So that's my perspective. Because look, you're connecting on a person-to-person level. I trust you. I like you. I trust you. I think you're good at what you do, but I don't want any of that yet. So when you reach out to me and you're saying, hi, I'd like for you to connect with me the best you can. So let's say that you notice that I'm a data analyst for Raymond James in Peoria, Illinois. What does that tell you? Right? Puma, like, what should you learn from something like that? She is a pediatric nurse, and he is a data analyst. Because you can look both of their names up on LinkedIn and Google and Facebook and find out a lot about them. Now, how would you tailor your approach to them knowing that information?
Well, if I'm going after the analyst, I know that he lives and breathes numbers, right? Data. He trusts data more than any opinion, more than your gut, more than your belief. He trusts data. So if I back it up with, hey, I was doing some analysis on your property and found that, over the last 3 months, it's gone up $30,000. Have you even remotely considered cashing in and taking advantage of this? Have you done any of your analysis yourself? Right now, keep in mind that give him credit, right? Because more than likely, a financial analyst or anyone who's working in that industry, they do care about those things. And they're probably looking up their value of their property pretty frequently because they care about numbers and they care about data and they care about those things, right? But more importantly than even connecting from that perspective, I'm also going to look at where did he go to school? Do we have any mutual connections, even if it's third party? Right? Do we know any of the same people? Maybe, and it doesn't even have to be, oh, he went to FSU. Great. You went to Florida. So now you could reach out and be like, hey, I wasn't even going to message you because you're a Seminole, right? And you can play off the fact that it's a rivalry. There's always a connection point that will break the ice and create kind of trust right from the get-go. But you have zero chance of doing that unless you put in a little bit of work to do the research. Obviously, all of the platforms are great. I love LinkedIn just because I get to see what do they do for a living, where did they go to school, who else do they know, because it might be something that they did 5 years ago and you used to do that as well, right? You used to work for IBM or you used to work for Disney or whatever it is, right? And you see that even if in Christina's situation, because I know she came from Disney, maybe you go on Facebook and you see that they were at Disney World last year on a vacation. Great. Boom. Connection point. Like that's all we're looking for is something that tells them you're not a complete stranger because you know a little bit something about them. Don't be creepy about it, but you know something about them and find that connection point. It will make all the difference in the world. But it does.
Here's the difference. It shows that you're not shotgunning looking for a quick buck, right? I mean, if I were looking at Champions Gate, right, and I just wanted to focus in that neighborhood, or I wanted to focus just on the southern tip of Anna Maria Island, right, then I want to really zero down. Guys, there's 100 people maybe, right? If you're going to zero in on that right now, you could take the time to get to understand 100 people, and then you're going to be sincere. And it's going to be really contextual when you reach out and say, Mike and Courtney, right? My name's Jeff. I'm Century 21 right around the corner. I noticed you guys have a condo here in Anna Maria Island, and I just want to be a resource and find out what's going on. We'll do some scripting when we do this class another day, right? And then as they come, I could do a video text on them and say, look, it's my job to know my neighbors. So cool you guys have kids. It looks like you're really into baseball. Right? If you're into baseball, maybe that's a connection point for you. If you're into fishing, maybe they're fishing. Maybe they saw a movie, something, right? And it's not bad for you to say, I really make it a point to know and I really want me to see that your kids like baseball too. Mine do too, right? That's not going to hurt you. It's not going to be creepy. It's if you're being sincere, right? Like if you're being sincere. And I hope you guys, all of you are, because you work here and you're highly conscious individuals. You want to actually do this because you want to give them the best experience ever. I don't think it's going to make them creepy. If you say, if I reached out to you and said, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? How about those Redskins, right? You're going to be like, and say, what are you creepy? Or do you say, look, I really make it a point to understand my neighbors and, this is my neighborhood I protect and I look after everybody. And I haven't had a chance to meet you yet. It looks like we got some commonalities. If I do like the Redskins, when I'm talking about that, or like golf or fishing or baseball, whatever it may be. What's your view on going that far in on the conversation? When's it appropriate to go into that part of the conversation?
I think right away, right? I think, hinting at it, listen, in today's world, most people, if you are scared about, really scared, I mean, like truly scared about privacy and you're not going to have a Facebook page, or at least not an active one. You're not going to be on LinkedIn. You're not going to be on Instagram. You're not going to be out there because you're afraid to put yourself out there. If I'm making posts weekly, which I do, about I won't say Redskins because that's offensive, I'll say the Washington football team, then I expect you to know that, right? It's not a big secret. I'm putting it out there. So anything that I post, I know that people have the potential to see, right?
Yep.
It's the reality of it. So,
and secretly, you want them to see it, right? Or
yeah,
you wouldn't put
of
it out
course
there.
I do. Especially if they're a Dallas Cowboys fan who we beat on Thursday very badly, by the way. So if any of you are Dallas Cowboy fans, I just want to say thank you for being terrible. But that's the point, right? And so I just think that finding that commonality and speaking to it, it creates immediate context, because I will tell you, I get a lot of messages per day on LinkedIn, and 95% of them are spam. And so the completely wrong way to go about it is to connect with someone and then instantly message them and ask them for something, right? And I think as salespeople, we get this notion in our head that, oh no, I'm helping them, right? By me selling them, offering to sell them my service or my product or a home, I'm helping them. No. You might think that, but you're really helping yourself. Right. So if you actually approach it with true connection first, and the messages that I tend to reply to are the ones that are like, hey, I see that you went to UT, so did I, or my sister's a UT alum, so I just wanted to reach out and connect and see what's going on in your world, how's business, blah, 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 blah. That is a message that I am far more likely to reply to, because A, they brought up UT, which is I have a soft spot for. They didn't ask me for anything, and it was about connecting, and then we can work into how can we help each other, right? We're not connecting for no reason. There's obviously some motive here for one or both of us. So what is it, right? And we can dive into that. But to just dive right, I mean, the messages I get on LinkedIn 95, 98% of the time are terrible. I mean, it's literally like, that it's coming. A sales pitch is coming, and it's ridiculous. So I think it's all about the approach, right? But I think number one has got to be trying to be as contextual as possible to whoever you're talking to, and making it more truly intent-based to connect and build trust rather than to sell or market anything.
I got a letter today at my house that I actually opened up, and it was from another real estate company, but it was hand addressed to me, right? And I opened it, right? Why? Because it's hand addressed. Everything else got thrown directly in the trash because it had a label on it, right? Label means not important. Done, gone, right? That one at least passed the BS test. I'm in real estate, right? I still opened it, and it was a handwritten note inside. I know that it was photocopied handwritten, but at least it was handwritten. And guys, the point is I opened it, right? And I'm now to the point of reading another agent's letter to me, right? And saying, hey, it looks like your house was on the market and it didn't sell. This is a great time. Hey, my house was never on the market, and I don't know what they're talking about, but I still opened the letter, and he got into my head, right? Because it worked, right? So that's what we're talking about, guys, is just get something going into just to make them think about you and talk about you. Now, super contextual, let's talk about this. If you really want to go into any neighborhood, any building, anything, get super, super, super contextual and tell them you're being super contextual. My passion is making sure that people in Indian Rocks Beach who do not live here have me as their resource. That's why I'm calling, right? If you haven't been doing this for a while, we've been doing this for 30 years. We've got relationships with every possible trade you could ever imagine. If you need a palm tree, an AC guy, a roofer, a refrigerator, a tile, a floor, a baseboard, you better call me. I want nothing from you except to know that I have your back and I am your resource because you don't live here. And I wish somebody would do that for me if I didn't live somewhere and owned a piece of property. That's why you're doing this. Okay. Now, ultimately, yes, you're going to become part of their sphere and they're going to refer business to you. But if you got super contextual to be, I am the protector of every absentee owner in this neighborhood, that's a great niche. Because if they don't want to sell, they're rich. And would you like to have a sphere of rich people that enjoy real estate as an investment? Yeah, I think you would. Because when you find people that are hurting and need to sell, they're your first phone call about picking up something. You don't have to sell them. They already like the property. They already like the neighborhood. They already like the investment class. They're ready to go, right? So to not be doing this full throttle doesn't make any sense at all, right? And VRBOs are just not performing the way that they were, and they will again. But now let's go through numbers, because some of your drunk monkeys might be running a little crazy. And so, guy, I talked to 40 of them, and every one of them is fine. Okay, good. What's the 41st one say? What's the 62nd one say? What's the 123rd one say? What did the 250th one say? Right? If this is your career, what else are you doing? Right? If you're not 1, 2, 3 hours today actively looking for new people to help to grow your business, you're going to go out of business. There's no softer way to say it, guys. If you are not actively talking to new people today to find out who's thinking about doing something in real estate in the near future, you will be out of business. And I don't want to see it happen to you, right? So you have to reach out. If honest gut check for your Monday morning gut check for a second, if you didn't make minimum of 50 outreach connections to people that you didn't know, right? Or people you did know with past clients or Sphere, but if you didn't talk to 50 people about real estate at least last week, you're not going to get a check in 90 days. Not going to happen. If you today don't have on your schedule to talk to 10, 20, 30 people today to find out who's thinking about buying or selling real estate, you're not going to get a check 90 days from now, 60 or 90 days from now. It's just not going to happen. And if you go tomorrow and not do it, there's another day without a check. You go the next day and not do one, there's another day without a check, right? So be honest with yourself for a second. How many people did you talk with last week about buying or selling real estate? How many people did you have that conversation with? Not a post that got views, that's nice, but how many conversations did you have with somebody about buying or selling real estate last week? All right, I'm going to wait a second because I want that one to sink in hard. How many people did you actually have a real estate conversation with about buying or selling? Not lead follow-up, new people. Not following up with people you've been working with already. New people to put on the top of your funnel that take a while to incubate until they pop out as a sale on the bottom. How many people did you actually talk with? Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And if that number isn't good, then we have to change things, guys. This is the perfect time. It's never been better, right? It's never been better. Talk to anybody who's been in this business for a long time. It's never been better than it is right now. And if you're not going all in, full throttle with connections and talking with people right now, then you're missing the best party that's ever happened in the history of this real estate industry. You're just letting it float on by. And what are you going to wait till the market sucks and rates are back up to 5% and it takes 6 months to sell a listing? If it doesn't expire, guys, that market is a real market. 6 months is average time for days on the market. Right now, having a minute and a half be your market time is not normal, right? So that's why I want you to just really enjoy this party while it's here. This is the time. I see Ashley's online right now. This is the time to be talking to everybody you know everywhere. This is the same message to your buddy who lives in Denver. Okay, same guy who lives in Chicago. Your aunt that lives in Pinocchio. You better call them and say the same damn thing, because I promise you they're having the same issue in that neighborhood too. If you're not living in the home you really want to be living in, this is the time to get your ass out and go get it, because you're going to regret it if you don't. Right? And then when they say, you know what, I've been thinking about it, get on the phone with Ashley, email Ashley and say, I need an agent in Peoria. I need an agent in LA. I need an agent in San Francisco. And we're going to get the outgoing referral for you and you're going to get paid. Okay. And your friends are going to get good representation because you're going to be watching the transaction for them. So this is the message for everybody everywhere, not just your neighborhood. This, guys, I'm telling you, this is the alarm is out. The bullhorn is out. This is the time, right? This is the time. This is the time to not sleep very much. This is the time to really go full throttle for the next 2 weeks for sure. Before people, take some time for Christmas and holidays and all that stuff. Everyone needs to do that too. But between now and then, it's like, why not? You just came off of a couple days chilling. This is not chill week. This is go week, right? We're gonna have 3 days of massive prepping, right? And when you're not in one of those classes, you got to be going. And we're just telling you alternative methods to go do this. Yes, door knocks still work. Yes, FSBOs work. Yes, there's not that many expireds. Yes, you still need to be posting. Yes, you need to be texting your Sphere next. Yes, you need to be talking to your past clients. Yes, fundamentals of real estate are still there. I'm just talking about go all in, go deeper into people you don't normally go into, because I assume that you want more business. And every listing is going to be worth sales to you, and especially when you leverage them right and get a new listing and then tell the whole neighborhood about it. And then you're going to get another listing and get some more buyers and keep going. The other thing too to talk about is, what can you do with these homes that aren't pretty? Right? We're going to, not this Tuesday, but not this Thursday, but next Thursday, we're going to do a workshop on the renovation loans. To me, that is something we're going to really jump on and have a lot of fun with these two, because the reason that, how many of you, just raise a hand, how many of you have a buyer right now that wants to buy that can't find anything they like on the market right now? Look at the hands flying up all over the place. Every one of you, right? You've got a buyer who would buy, is qualified, is ready, is active, does want to buy right now, but does not have a piece of property that they actually want to do. So the quick tease on that one is, your new campaign is, it's okay to love an ugly house. Okay. Because what makes an ugly house not ugly anymore? Money. Money, right? Is money expensive or cheap right now? Super cheap. So you need to start educating your buyers into accepting an uglier house, because let's reno it. You don't want somebody else's kitchen cabinets anyway. You really want your own. You don't want somebody else's shower. You want your own, right? Go get it, right? So the reno loans are just something that is going to allow you to convert people. Now, not everybody, some people just can't even comprehend the idea about doing a reno on their house because it's aggravating and it's outside their ability to comprehend. And that's okay. That's not the George you're looking for. You're looking for that couple that really wants to be living in West Chase right now, where there's no 4 bedrooms on the market, but there's a nice 3-bedroom that's got a big ass yard, and you could easily add a master to it, right? That's the opportunity that you have right now, with money being as cheap as it actually is right now. So should that conversation be happening? See you at 11. Yes, we need to be pushing that as a goal. So should you be on your platforms right now saying, let me tell you something, we had a team meeting this morning and we were just kind of joking around that it's okay to love an ugly house. Here's why that's not a joke. Let me take this house, for example. To make this house pretty would cost about 30 grand, 40 grand. And then you could finance that 40 grand into that house, or maybe it's 100 grand. You could put a pool in, a new kitchen, add a master, new bathrooms, all new flooring, all new windows. Do it, right? Do it and have fun with it. So start broadening the horizon for your buyers. Be the resource, be the knowledge guy, empower, educate, encourage, and educate them to say, this is an option for you. Empower them to think about their different ideas, right? And encourage them. So just go for it. Money's never been cheaper. That's the neighborhood you guys love with. Yes, the house is ugly, but look at the lot. So much room for a pool. Design your own pool. Get a waterfall, right? Get that kitchen that you want. Get that big ass clawfoot tub. Do it, right? It's actually better that you're buying an ugly house because you can make it pretty. Why do you want somebody else's drains? Why do you want to sit in somebody's tub that their butt's been in there? You don't want to sit in somebody else's butt tub. Get your ass in a new one. Buy a renovation loan, right? This is the fun you can start having with this, guys. It's just push your people into different thoughts, okay? Empower, educate, encourage is the whole thing on this one. Jackie is, we got a couple chats going on there. Maybe it was the butt tub that got your attention. Jumped on a little late. You're going to show the Zoom background. Okay. Wear your name tag with Century 21 shirt. Jackie was getting her nail done. Her nails did. And she was working a deal. Her buyers got the house, 2.2% interest. 2.2, guys, 2.2%. It's like free money.
Below inflation.
It's ridiculous. Awesome, guys. I just wake up, everybody. Right? This is the time. So just have this conversation is the whole thing. Talk to everybody. Here's the problem. We got to rein it back because it's too much. So what is the niche for today? Who are you going to talk to today? Who are you going to talk to? Because when you just saw Jackie talking about a 2.2% interest rate, if you're not talking to all of your friends right now and say, guys, I don't care if you buy anything or not right now, but if you're not in your perfect house, we should talk because money's super cheap. But if your mortgage rate is over 4% right now, you cannot not refinance. It most likely doesn't make sense for you. Call me because maybe it doesn't, but most of the time it will. Let's have a conversation. I am your friend. I'm here to help you. Let me talk with you. That needs to be one of your messages out today and just put the video on, get on Facebook, get on LinkedIn, go on Instagram, right? Do whatever you need to do, or sing it on TikTok. I don't care what you do, but just talk to people about you need to do something. Guys, these rates are not going to last. You're going to see tomorrow in Craig and I's keynote, we're going to go through some slides about the economy, which are going to prove to you this is not going to last this way right now. It's not going to. This increased her, Jackie just wrote in there, by getting a rate from 2.2%, it increased her buying potential from $185,000 house to $215,000 house. Guys, that's significant, right?
Especially
That's
in this market.
Huge. Huge, huge, huge. So be the knowledge broker, be the trust broker, bring the information to them. Look, refinance, do a cash out refi, make your house. If your house is not perfect, none of our houses are perfect right now. Every one of us wants something else inside of our house, right? What is it? Then go do it. Go do it. Pull some money out. Do it. It's never been cheaper than it is right now. If you don't want to deal with that, then sell your house for the most money it's ever been worth and then go buy another one. But there's not much out there. Why don't you go buy an ugly house and make it yourself? Because make it pretty exactly the way you want to and get a renovation loan. To see where I'm going with this, guys? There's no excuse for not doing something right now for you, right? I'm talking to you right now. When you think about your house and what you'd like to do to your house, do it or move into another house. Do it. There's no other options. Do it or get another house that has it. And if you don't have enough money to do that, then go talk to people today so you have enough money to do whatever you want. Right. So objections are all overcome on this one. So that's the fun part about this market right now, guys. And if you want somebody else to talk to, once you exhaust going to talk to every one of your spheres in private messaging and say, hey, quick question. Do you know what your mortgage rate is right now? If your interest rate is over 4%, let me have you talk to my loan buddy and talk about doing a refi. What if you just use auto networks and threw that out there today? What if you just did a copy paste text to everybody in your phone today? Promise you're going to have real estate conversations and somebody's going to want to buy a new house, right? Or sell their house or just do a refi and just be the nice guy and give them your loan officer and get a refi. You don't need anything from that one, but you're going to become top of mind. So they're going to give you to their friends. You guys see this? So it all goes back down to contacts. How many contacts and connections are you going to commit to having today? And I don't care what you did last week. It needs to be more than last week because this is not going to last, guys. When rates are back up to 4.5%, it's fine, but it's not as awesome, right? So please do this. And I'm really excited for the next few days on this one here. Are we going to get an updated itinerary for NLU? Some sessions were canceled or moved. None of them were canceled or moved.
No, there's nothing canceled or moved.
Nope. So everything that's on that agenda is on, and the agenda is set, presenters are set, content is set, and we are bringing our A+ game to you guys. So that's all online. It's on BE3 Agents. On the top button is register, and you can see the whole agenda right there. Click on the items you want to make sure that you're in because there are room limits. There is a limit on some of these room sizes, and we are filling up on many of the sessions already. So make sure that you click on the ones you want to be in. You can be in all of them, but just click on them. So make sure you reserve your spot in those two. So yeah, that's coming up. So that's the major points I wanted to get across today. Any questions? We had a little Q&A time today too about what to do with any of this stuff or how to do any of this stuff. Any questions, comments, thoughts? All right. See that once you register and got a confirmation, she also got to say the cancellation and invite to a new session. So maybe we could figure out. Maybe you can forward that email to me. Forward that email to me and Mike.
We have hundreds of people registered, and you're the only one who's mentioned that. So something happened on your end. Email
that email that you got to me and to Mike so we could see what it said. So make sure there wasn't a glitch somewhere on the session. We'll figure that out. Okay. All right, guys, here's what I want. Last thing I want from you for your accountability for yourself right now. How many people are you going to commit to talking with today? Type it in. How many new people are you going to commit to talk? Every one of you, how many? I don't care if it's 2, but commit to it and do it. It should be more like this number over my shoulder here. 200. I got 5. I got 20. We got 7, we got 20, we got 25. I like it. Do we see 20, 21? I got 25. Who's got 26? Anybody got 26? Who's got 27? Anybody got 30? I got 30. Whoa, yeah, there we go. There we go, back 10 to 10. 20 guys, this is it. Now write this number down and keep it in front of you. And you can't go home or you can't turn off until you hit that number. If you've got to sit in your car and text people before you hit that 20 number, Pam and Amy, that's what you got to do today. And then once you get to that 20th conversation, you're done. Right? That's it, guys. That's all we need to be doing. That's the one missing level of accountability is you putting this number down and committing to it and not doing anything else until you hit that number. Now, I recommend you don't even have lunch until you hit this number. If you get it done right now, there's no distractions. And then everything else you need to do it after lunch. That's going to make a big difference there. So I love those numbers. We got hundreds of people committing, hundreds of contacts committed to already today. So that is it. All right. Let's see. Any other questions we need? Jamie just said she emailed something to you to make sure there's no issues. All right. Any other questions? Any other Q&A? We got a couple minutes. That's the last of the message I want to have for today from me. So the rest is on you guys. All right. Well, block off your day. Get your contacts today. Go into NLU and be3agents.com, register for the sessions and log in. And then we're going to actually be recording these as well and going from there. And Jamie's got something from Red X. Oh yeah, the new thing they just released. I'm excited to see what that is, Jamie. Cool. All right, Mike, anything else to share?
That's all I got.
That's all we got until we have 18 hours of other stuff for you starting tomorrow. So guys,
Right.
Show up tomorrow. We're going to deliver Super A game to you guys, and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for your time and attention, and go make it happen, guys. Talk to people. Do one more than you wrote down, by the way. I'm just going to make you feel a whole lot better. So if you wrote down 10, make it 11. Did 20, make it 21. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Happy Monday.
Thanks. See ya.
See you tomorrow.